Good afternoon, class. My name is Shaniqua, and this is my video post for discussion question number 6. With that being said, the first question for question number 6 was to visit one of the interactive websites found on the week 6 exercise and discuss the experience on the discussion board. So with that, I chose to visit Vocafor, and it was a very good website. I was able to do a couple of tests on there, and excuse me, a couple of assessments on there. And one of the assessments that I did was the work adjustment inventory. And I found it to be very interesting because of the three categories that it checked integrative, adjustive, and non-adjustive. And in the integrative and section, it stated that I received a 24. And then in the adjustive, it said that I received a grade of 10. And then in the non-adjustive, I received a grade of 7. So when I went to look at the key to see exactly what it meant, the integrative was defined as removes thwarting conditions and reduces tension or anxiety. When I looked at adjustive, it defined it as reduces tension or anxiety, but does not remove thwarting conditions. And then finally, the non-adjustive states that neither removes thwarting conditions nor does it reduces tension or anxiety. And I found that to be very interesting because I believe that I'm the kind of person where I will try to look at both sides of the coins to try to find the best resolution as possible. And so when I received the grade of 24 on the integrative, I found it to be very accurate when it came to my work ethic. What I believe about doing my work is trying to make both parties as successful as possible while minimizing as much conflict as possible. With that, the second part of discussion, question 6, was we had to look at the career resources that was located in our resources folder. And we were asked the question, have we ever used any of the websites? And I have to honestly say, I have not used not one of the websites that were listed on there. And it kind of made me sad a little bit because I realized I'm not really utilizing the resources that are available when it comes to career decision making. One of the websites that I did see on there that I might potentially look at was the socialservices.com. I found that one to be very interesting. So I'm in a way looking forward to trying that website out to see exactly what it has to offer me for future career decision making plans. Okay, the next part of the discussion question is to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of using computer assisted career guidance based on chapter number 7 from Zunker. So with that, some of the advantages according to Zunker 2017 is that it actively involves the career guiding process. I like how we're able to seek more information about the process itself. We're able to give detailed information about it because sometimes we can grow a little weary with using internet services because we're not sure of the reliability of it. So that was one of the advantages that was listed. Another advantage that was listed is that it has a unique use of immediate feedback. And with that, I found that to be a very good advantage because a lot of times when we take tests, sometimes the anxiety of waiting for the answer kind of gets to us. And so to be able to have that immediate response, I think reduces a lot of that anxiety. And then it's also an advantage because then people will want to use it more because of the fact that they know that they will get immediate responses. A final advantage that I really liked about it is that there's a large database and it has up-to-date information in regards to local, state, national, and international locations. So it's not just narrowed to just one particular region, but it has a vast array of information, not just for our local community, but even on the external and outer regions and outer communities. And I like that very much because it makes it more broader so that it doesn't seem narrow because sometimes we do need to look at what other options are that are further out of our scope or not as narrow to what our immediate community may bring. Just so we can understand what is out there and allow ourselves to have that thought process in regards to what we want to do within our own careers. With that being said, I did want to list some of the disadvantages of using of counselors using online tools with clients. And one of the main issues, according to Zunker 2017, is that employees' personal activities, such as one's affiliation in civic, political and or religious organizations may prejudice a supervisor's evaluation of an employee. And that really struck me because a lot of times we try to separate personal from work, but I'm learning more that personal and work are so much more integrative than we thought it was. And because it's so much integrative, it can harm us. Not that we're choosing to do it, but just in a sense of harming us in a sense of people won't see our full value because they're just limiting it to just whatever we might have written or stated in a particular moment. And use that as a reason to not want to give us a promotion or to not want to employ us in a particular opportunity. So I found that to be very discouraging. Another disadvantage is the possibility of scoring errors. And the reason why I thought about this one is because sometimes we can be taking a test and we might not interpret the question the way that the manufacturer wanted the question to be interpreted. And with that, because that can happen sometimes, we may give the wrong answer. And that's a disadvantage because sometimes there's that ambiguity when it comes to looking at some of the questions that are on a test, that we won't be able to give the most accurate information because our limitation in understanding the question is flawed. And then finally, the last disadvantage that I wanted to talk about was computer-based testing, ensuring that it's valid. We have to be so careful when we're using a lot of internet tools because there may not be a lot of validity to it. And with that, it can actually do more harm than good because it might direct us in a path that we may not want to go down, or we may have the interpretation of this path is not good for us based on a computer program when in reality the program is really not valid. Not so much that we're not valid, but or the information that we provided is not valid, but is that the programming itself is not valid. And so that was another disadvantage that I thought about, and it really struck me. And with that being said, that concludes my discussion post for discussion question number 6. I look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday. Take care and have a great day. Shaniqua.